Sorry, Lauren. I'm glad everybody loved it because I super hated it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Iron Man.
We're back.
Iron Man's back. Okay. Oh, yes.
You.
I forgot. Oh, that's me. Okay. Hi. Welcome back. So now we're going to continue our Halloween special. And now it's going to be
Lon.
Night
Yes.
Watch.
Okay, now this might be a hard one for you to find to watch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I had to watch it on YouTube, and it only had it dubbed in English, or my favorite, all in Russian, but no subtitles. And I'm going to leave it to Bob because Bob and I said the same thing when I saw it. The use of subtitles in this was pretty
You
unique.
want to see this movie with subtitles.
Exactly. Like I'm gonna say right now, there's a sequence in which there's a boy, he's in a pool, he starts having a bloody nose, and all of a sudden the blood starts becoming the subtitles. It did really creative.
It's coming from the direction that the voice is coming from.
It was really creative. So I can't comment on that because I can't remember actually anything else. That was the one thing I remember uniquely because that was also in the trailer. But anyway, so this is a Russian film directed by Timur Bekmambetov. This is the movie where I said, okay, I'm watching all of his movies.
Yeah.
And I really did try. I had never seen Ben-Hur, but I've watched everything he's done since then. He co-wrote the screenplay with this Laeta Kalogridis, based on the novel by Sergei Lyanenko. This was a really interesting little film. At first I didn't want to do it because I thought, well, it's not really a Halloween movie. And it's not really a horror movie, in my opinion. But it was still the battle between good and evil. And that's how it starts. The battle is on a bridge. There are other individuals called others. They possess certain powers. Sometimes they don't even know they have the powers. But in this battle that takes place on the bridge, there are two actors. Vladimir Menshov plays Gesser. He is the leader of the light. Then Viktor Verzhibitsky plays Zavalon. He's the leader of the dark. They make an agreement saying, we want to keep the balance. It doesn't have to be dominated. So they come up with a day watch and a night watch. The night watch are the light others who are basically they're like a police force. They patrol the night and look and make sure nothing's out of balance, that there's no illegal activities such as vampires, killing, or whatever, because you need a permit to do that. And this is what I love. I thought, wow, if this is what Russian bureaucracy must be like, I can't imagine. Yeah. And the same thing with the day watch. The dark people are during the day, and they actually go and cite people for, no, you can't do that to people, So anyway, it begins, then goes on to a character wonderfully played by this Konstantin, I'm assuming it's Kabensky, plays Anton Goretsky. Anton is the main character. He is going to I guess I would call her a medium, or perhaps you'd call her a sorceress. You don't quite know.
Psychic, maybe.
Or even a psychic, exactly. He has just sort of broken up with his wife, and he wants to find out what's going on her, and he wants to sort of destroy her relationship. But at the beginning, the woman finds out stuff from did her research and says, well, she's pregnant. So she says, if you want to get back with her, he has this guy's baby in her. Maybe we have to get rid of the baby first. And even though he's not, he just wants to be back with her. He agrees with the witch. Okay, you can get rid of the baby as well and break off her relationship. So that's when you find out she more or less is like a witch because she does an actual ceremony. But then all of a sudden, Anton goes into another world. He hears voices. He doesn't see anybody yet. And then all of a sudden, the woman is being tackled on the ground, running around, and you're wondering what in the world's going on. That's when other characters who are part of the Night Watch appear and saying, yeah, this is sort of like this unsanctioned ritual that's going on that you don't have a permit for. So after this is sort of taken care of, then 12 years later, Anton, you see, is part of the Night Watch. So as he goes out on patrol, he needs certain help from Day Watch people. And this is sort of the fascinating part, I think, at least I found it fascinating, is the world that they created here. Because the Day Watch, or I shouldn't say the Day Watch, the Dark Ones are going after certain people and they want to know why. So they get leads on this and that. And as the movie goes along, there are certain reasons that they do. One is a young boy who has a certain power. When he screams, it actually, you can see it physically wounds the dark people with the scream. Well, like I said, they're not part of the Watch. They're just part of the Watch is an actual organization.
Are they one of the others?
The others, yeah,
the dark others.
They're one of the. Oh, there we go. The dark others. That's a great way of putting it. And so they figure, oh, he's another. We have to sort of like Anton. Oh, we have to make sure he is aware of what he is, because when they don't know it, they go into this odd world where they can die. And again, something else I thought was sort of strange. In fact, you would say it's another dimension, I guess, is the only way to put it. And as the story goes along, Anton himself, I understand why they picked him, because apparently he has the ability to talk to people in a very human way and sort of tell them and try to convince them of who they are, what they are, and what you're capable of doing. But for some reason, people are after all these other people, so he's going out and helping them. But it is culminating to they think, what is this Zavalon, the dark, the Day Watch leader? What is he up to? Because they figure he's manipulating everything. So it's hard for me to describe the movie, except that I actually found this movie very funny. I was surprised how much I laughed during this movie.
Really?
A lot to do with Anton. Because of the character and this stuff. There's another odd character by the name of Olga. I don't know the actress' name, but he's given an owl that's supposed to be his partner.
Oh, right, yeah.
And even seeing stuff like that, it's like, this is going to be his partner. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I keep forgetting I'm in this odd world. And it just, in my opinion, it just keeps getting odder and odder as it goes along. But it's obviously how would I put it? A fight between the light and the dark. It always has been and always will be. And that's what I think intrigued me, which is why I said I don't quite find it like a horror movie, but it has all these different types of creatures in it. And to be quite honest, there are a couple creepy moments, I would say, in it myself.
Oh, yeah.
The doll itself. I'll just mention the doll. That's at the beginning. You'll see it right away.
The vampire fight.
Oh, see, I didn't find that creepy, to be quite honest.
But it's like out of a horror movie.
But anyway, it is one I just thought it was a fun movie and I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this movie. Yeah, we saw this movie when it came out too. And then so I was trying to remember. I remember that I liked it. Yeah, and it's very, when of course seeing it now again, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it reminded me of, because it's kind of complex too, to follow the story, but it reminded me, because obviously, kind of like you have a thing where the forces of light kind of protect like they say, the nighttime from the forces of from any bad thing happening, and the forces of the dark protect the daylight from the or the reverse. However, it goes from the opposite.
Day protects the day, and night protects.
So
the
they keep each other in check. That's to keep maintain the
Yes.
balance.
Mhm.
So that's it reminded me a bit of just the feel of it like Evil Dead. It reminded me of the kind of like the weirdness of it.
Exactly.
And also there's a movie. I think it's a Russian movie too that came out a while back called VIY. They did a sequel called The Iron Mask with Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's his face, Jackie Chan. But this movie is about
Oh yeah.
This one we saw is about a cartographer who goes and he's mapping Transylvania, and he goes there and he runs into these weird creatures and people, and it had a feel of like that movie too. And I go, maybe it's like a Russian thing because it had a particular feel of that.
We had a hard time finding that movie too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this movie I had to order it I ordered it through one service. I couldn't play it, so I had to order it through another service. So I was to play it. That would just wouldn't let me play it. So you cussed me twice, though.
No, sorry.
No, not you. I'm telling you. So, but it's very. You want to say that story is almost complex, when you follow different characters, but they. But yeah, it's entertaining. I thought the only thing is, one thing is I thought the ending I did not like too much because I thought it was kind of too easy. The way that the way it ends, the way they say that movie is resolved, I go, well, is that it? I want more, but obviously they don't know. But because I thought it was I wanted a more challenging thing than what the solution was at the end of the movie. But I enjoyed it. I was like, wow, really. It's almost like one of those things you have to be on something and you watch it like, am I on something? Watch it because all the stuff that's going on is so hard.
Well, I just fell in love with this movie as soon as I saw it. I said, wow, this is an imagination. I mean, like Lon talked about the subtitles, and I just was blown away by that because then there's another one where somebody throws something against the wall and the subtitles are there, and the subtitles start dripping down the wall. It's just so goofy. It's so goofy, and like the guy who plays the main character, I forget what was his name.
That's Konstantin Kabensky.
Yeah, he's also in another movie by
Wanted.
Bekmambetov's
Yeah.
best known film here, Wanted.
Yeah.
And he's sensational. I mean, the guy is just a wonderful actor, and in some cases, other people in there might be wonderful actors. I don't know, because I don't speak the language. But to watch what is done with the subtitles, like as Lon was saying before, when the voice starts calling him, you see the direction the voice is coming from. It's like it's a use of subtitles like I had never seen before, and now I've seen other people use it since then. And the book, it was 3 books this was based on. I so flipped for this that after I saw the second one, and I said, well, no, wait a minute, that's okay. But I thought it was supposed to be 3 books. This seemed to be pretty much ending it at second. And I think that what happened was it didn't take off in the U.S. the way they wanted it to. So they just changed it. Instead of having it be a trilogy, they made it 2 movies, which is too bad because there's so much missing. Although I read the second book and I couldn't find anything in that book that had anything to do with the movie. Anything. But there's one
sort
thing.
of Game of Thrones-ish in a way, where they
Yeah,
they just talk about
compare
character.
those two.
No,
Oh
they
my
just talk
God.
about the character in the books.
By the
but
way,
they tell
too,
story, you know?
the second one is called Daywatch, which makes sense.
That's right. Yes, I
And
saw
and
that.
there's a scene in that where this woman gets in a car,
Exactly.
drives the car up the side of the building, drives across the building, flips the car, goes into a guy's office. She just parks the car and gets out and says, "Is it okay if I leave my wheels here?" It's like that kind of goofy stuff. And I thought, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer was a wonderful. That was one of my favorites of his, and that was like written by the same guy who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Right.
And I like what he's done because in both cases he's taken history and just done a turn on history that to me is legitimate. I mean, in the case of Pride and Prejudice, instead of the upper class, they're vampires that are taking over the British Empire. In the case of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, the South is all vampires.
Do you think that he's making
Statement?
an
A
interesting statement?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Absolutely, and I think, like I said, I think it's completely valid. I mean, if you look at it, plus they had in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, they had the great Rufus Sewell as the villain, and man, I mean, that's just. And I remember Kevin Smith was interviewing, was like had a show for a while where he'd have kids see these movies and then he'd interview them afterwards. And after Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, he had this one kid. He goes, "Yeah, it was all right." And he goes, He said, "What are you talking about? It's all right. A guy threw a horse. A guy threw a horse at another guy, and you're calling it just all right." But this one, I mean, every one of these movies stands alone, and I wish he had had more success here to make more. But he does have. I did look this up. It's a lower budget film, I think, and I hadn't heard of anybody is in it. It's scheduled to open in August. Called. Look it up. I mean, I
What's
did.
it about?
I forget. I just looked it up yesterday when I was looking up some other stuff that I was really focusing on. But it begins with a V, I think.
Let's see. Filmography.
Yeah, and there's another. He also did an
Mercy.
animated movie. Huh?
It says 2025 Mercy. Oh, no. 2021 V2 Escape from Hell.
No, this is then it's Mercy because it's the
Okay.
one that's coming out in 2025.
Okay.
All right. But that looks to be pretty cool too. But I'll see anything this guy does.
No.
Anything.
Well, actually, okay, this is another movie I watched twice. It reminded me a lot of the French movies like Delicatessen and Children of Man. Just the kind
That's
of.
not a French movie. Children of Man's not a French movie.
Oh, well.
Alfonso Cuarón directed it, but it's not a French movie. It's a
Yes,
British
but you know
movie.
what I mean.
Children of God.
The director.
I think of Children of God.
The director. The
Okay.
director, the lighting, the colorfulness of it. I was going to ask was it a comic book? Because I'm not familiar with that.
No, they were novels.
No.
But I think it's more.
But that's his style, I think, of direction. You're right. Yeah.
It's not like good and evil. It's like balance. You
Yep.
know, that in fact, the dark and the light had come to negotiated terms that they weren't going to have these wars. They're both equally as strong, so they can't win. Right? So what they do is like, if you do something that, in other words, infringes on the dark, then the light will take a equal. So it's not like a good and evil thing. It's balanced thing. And I really like that. Let's see. The story was really easy to follow. And I don't mean because it wasn't complicated. It was, but they presented it so well that this world is divided into the forces. And the little complications that happen, there are these other people who have evolved from the dark and the light called others. And when you are like, I love the scene when they're kind of interrogating the older lady. Remember
the witch, basically?
the abortionist lady?
Yes. Okay.
And they were interrogating her, and then he's like, says something, and they go, "You can hear us," right? It was because he was like, yes, because so he's another, just like the other little boy is too. Others are not good or bad. They just pick a side. After a certain age, they pick if they're going to be working for good or good, day or night. So it was like that. And I thought that they were both are equally strong. So this is the agreement they have made. And the complications that come out of that agreement is basically the story, you know? So, and I really like this movie. I thought it was, but it was really hard to find. We had a really hard time finding it, but I have to tell you, the dubbing was great. Considering this is a Russian
Except it's
movie.
going to take away from the
Well,
the
they did
subtitles.
it perfectly.
Well,
I agree.
looking.
In fact, I actually preferred it dubbed
It was
because
amazing.
it was really just to the point, succinct,
you
and you
guys say
didn't.
that on
You
movies,
don't
I
have to
don't
do,
get
you
it.
know.
right.
Yeah,
But
it's not
Well,
uncomplicated.
the problem was
But
that
yeah.
the one we got that was not it was I couldn't play it. It wouldn't let me play it. So I had
No,
to-
Yeah.
I understand
So
that.
that
I
way
just
you
it's
don't
too
know.
bad
I would-
because you have to see that with subtitles.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Well, I
not,
would recommend
it's not
it
that.
only
I
that, yeah.
tend to like to see if a movie's a French movie, I like to see it in French.
Right.
If a movie's Russian, I want to see it in Russian
Yeah.
and read the subtitles because it has a different feel
Right.
when
Yep.
people talk.
Yes,
Mhm.
very much
So
so.
even if I don't understand what they're saying, I can understand the emotion or
Mhm.
where they're at from what they're saying. So that that
Sometimes
was.
dubbing can sound robotic.
But
so-
I have to tell you, I
I mean,
never
they did
saw
a good job. Yeah.
better dubbing. I was looking at. I was like, I can't believe that he didn't just say that. Okay, so I liked it.
Sorry, Lauren. I'm glad everybody loved it because I super hated it. It was so boring, so long and so boring. They had too many, they had just had, they put too many, like, good and bad, evil.
Light and dark.
And then they put the others in, and then it gets all confusing. And I didn't find it was a great story at all. I didn't definitely find it funny. I was still looking at my watch going, how much longer? It just is not my kind of movie.
Well, also too, funny enough, I find like certain cultures, people like English people in bad situations can be very funny. I mean, that's part of their culture that they will make light in a bad situation. Russian people are the same. They will say funny things in really,
Interesting.
It's true.
kind of difficult situations. They use humor a lot. So
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
I find that to be
Mhm.
true. I'm making an observation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, George,
Oh yeah, it's me. No, I enjoyed it. I would say I'll give it a 8.
Wow.
oh, Sue,
Oh, okay. I'll give it an 8 also. Liked it.
I give it a 6.
I give it a 6.
Oh,
Okay.
so we'll be back.
We'll be back.